Mount Rushmore for kids. Today, we are going to talk all about Mount Rushmore. But first, let's play pretend for a minute. Have you ever taken a piece of clay or Play-Doh and tried to mold it into a shape? Same here. It is pretty easy to do, since the material is soft and easy to sculpt. Now, picture that you have a rock and a chisel. Would it be as easy to create a shape? Nope. Even with the right tools, it would be pretty hard, right? Can you imagine trying to carve 4 enormous heads of famous people onto the side of an entire mountain? Because that is exactly what 400 workers did to create the monument at Mount Rushmore. Pretty wild, right? So where is Mount Rushmore, and why was it created? Mount Rushmore is located just north of Custer State Park in South Dakota's Black Hills National Forest. The mountain was named after a New York lawyer, Charles E. Rushmore, who traveled to the Black Hills in 1884 to inspect mining claims in the region. Actually, he was the one who named it, after himself. How about that for an interesting fact? Here is another one. The granite peak was known to the Lakota as Tonkasilla, Shakpe, Paha, or Six Grandfathers Mountain, and it was and is considered special ground to that tribe. Mount Rushmore was created as a way to attract tourists to the state. In the 1920s, South Dakota state historian Duane Robinson thought of an idea to sculpt the granite pillars of Six Grandfathers Mountain into the shape of heroic figures of the West. He first suggested Red Cloud, a Lakota chief, as the subject for the carving. However, in August of 1924, Gutzon Borglum, an American sculptor of Danish descent, was contacted about the project. He suggested that the subjects should be George Washington and Abraham Lincoln to create national interest. Later, Thomas Jefferson and Theodore Roosevelt were added to the list. In 1925, Borglum chose the granite face of Mount Rushmore as the site for the carving. Even though some people did not want it to happen, the Mount Rushmore project started in 1927 and took over 14 years to complete. The carving of Mount Rushmore involved nearly 400 men and women working as messengers, drillers, blacksmiths, and housekeepers. Every day, they had to climb 700 stairs to the top of the mountain to begin work. Some workers were lowered over the front of the 500-foot mountain face using steel cables and a tiny chair called a bosun chair. That would be a scary job to do if you were afraid of heights. Here is an interesting fact. 90% of the mountain was carved using dynamite. Workers called powdermen would cut and set the charges of dynamite to specific sizes to help carve the design. The dynamite was used until only 3 to 6 inches of rock was left to remove to get to the carving surface. The rest was removed by hand. In all, about 450,000 tons of rock was removed. That is about the same weight as 2 cruise ships. Work on the mountain was completed in 1941. Sadly, Gutzon Borglum died a few months before its completion. His son Lincoln finished the project in his place. Today, nearly 3 million people visit the Mount Rushmore National Memorial every year. It is one of the United States' most popular tourist attractions. You have probably seen it in movies and on TV too. And now, those 4 famous faces are also known as the Shrine of Democracy. And here is a final interesting fact about Mount Rushmore. The monument is 60 feet high, with each of the president's heads measuring about the height of a 6-story building. Their eyes are 11 feet across, their noses are 20 feet long, and their mouths are 18 feet wide. Whoa! That's pretty huge! Now that we know about how Mount Rushmore was created, let's talk briefly about each president who is included in the monument and what they were chosen to symbolize. George Washington. He led the colonists in the American Revolutionary War and helped the colonists gain independence from Great Britain. He was also the first U.S. president. Washington was chosen to be included in the monument at Mount Rushmore to represent the birth of the United States as an independent country. Thomas Jefferson. He was the primary author of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson also purchased the Louisiana Territory from the French, which doubled the size of the U.S. He was chosen to represent the growth of the U.S. Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln held the nation together during the Civil War and preserved the Union of the United States. He also signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which ended the practice of enslavement. He was chosen to symbolize the preservation of the United States. Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt provided leadership when America was experiencing rapid growth. He was also instrumental in the construction of the Panama Canal, which linked the East and the West. Roosevelt was chosen to be included in the monument to represent development. Well, there you have it, friends. Who knew that learning about a mountain could be so interesting? Now that we have all kinds of new facts in our brains, let's review. Name 2 of the presidents included in the monument at Mount Rushmore. Possible answers include George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and Theodore Roosevelt. True or false? Originally, the state historian of South Dakota thought that Chief Red Cloud should be the one carved into the mountain. True! Fill in the blank. The carvings at Mount Rushmore took blank years to create. 14! That's a long time. Nice job, mountain mavens! Mount Rushmore has become an iconic symbol of the United States. It represents birth, growth, preservation, and development. If you could choose 4 people to be memorialized on the face of a mountain, who would you choose and why?
Hope you had fun learning with us. Visit us at learnbright.org for thousands of free resources and turnkey solutions for teachers and homeschoolers.